So there's been a mass murder in America, right? Big shocker. Another mass murder in America. And of course, everybody goes to their camps. The right wing, they're saying the guns are great. It's the mental illness. The left wing says that the guns are terrible. Let's get rid of the Second Amendment. Same shit, different day. Neither one are right. Both are go on in circles. Further entrenching themselves. Nothing progressing. Nothing ever getting done. It's absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. Never waste a crisis, they say. Then stop politicizing your crisis the exact same. The right wing, they're what? They're anti-criminal, pro-law and order. They're talking about having a healthy business climate for continuity. The left wing, they're what? They care about the community. They're for change. They're loving, caring, empathetic. Why can't we find any common ground? We're not that different. Matthew McConaughey, he says we need to make small sacrifices, and that's notable because it's different. It's also smart, too. It's like, hey, let's actually do something this time. Let's actually do something. Can you make some small sacrifices? So what are we talking about? We're talking about May 24th. We're talking about 2022, May 24th. 18-year-old Salvador Ramos is going to shoot up Robb Elementary School in Texas. He killed 19 children and 2 adults. The gunman was later shot dead by the Border Patrol during a standoff with law enforcement authorities. He was actually born in North Dakota. So Border Patrol, not Bolivia, not Grenada. He wasn't born in Cuba, Candace Owens. Hey, Candace Owens. He wasn't born in Cuba. Salvador Ramos, at first he had shot his grandma on the forehead. Apparently she survived. Salvador Ramos was also typing with some German teenager. Was he showing off for her? Was it revenge against her for spurning his love? Cain killing Abel just shows me that jealousy is a motherfucker. Jealousy is a motherfucker. Okay, God. You like it when Abel kills some sheep? Yeah, okay. You like it when Abel kills some sheep, huh? Well, Abel just killed some sheep. You like that? You like it when Abel kills a sheep, but you don't like it when I pick the corn? What the fuck, God? It makes no sense, God. In some sense, we need our meat, and we need our fruits and vegetables. And we need our dairy and our grains. That's the 4 food groups. Just burning a lamb? I mean, that's all. Abel just burned up a lamb. He killed a lamb. He killed some sheep. I thought we're supposed to be like good shepherds here. Abel is not a good shepherd. That's a terrible shepherd. You're supposed to take care of your damn lamb. Who made God judge anyways? People get jealous when they're not loved. If you were loved, then why get jealous? Salvador Ramos had shitty, terrible, terrible parents. They did not raise him well at all. And actually, public education. What the fuck? Public education, he went to school for what, 12 goddamn years? So public education failed. The parents failed. With America's social safety net failed. But you know what? Candace Owens, she's got it figured out. Candace Owens knows what's going on. She said that the gunman was a cross-dresser. The gunman was a cross-dresser. Well, there you go. Shit. Bang the gavel. That's all she wrote. Clearly, you dress beautiful one day with some dress, with some eyeliner. Right? Put a dress on. Wear some eyeliner. Do your hair, wear some makeup, and then the next day, bang, bang, bang. And what a hypocrite. What a hypocrite. Kamala Harris said we need to get an assault rifles ban. Okay? Kamala Harris, we're going to get an assault weapons ban. It was implemented in Bill Clinton's era, then repealed. Now they're talking about doing it again. Doing it again. And they'll probably get it. They'll probably get it. But you know, back in the 90s, gas was 99 cents a gallon. Can we get that back too? Milk was, what, $2-3 a gallon? But what else has Kamala or Joe Biden done? Ruttering in the mud for a year now, just spitting out in the ditch. What a bunch of wasteful. We got endless wars, worthless police, poverty. Kamala wants the U.S. to progress on guns. She's not even a goddamn progressive. These assholes said that nothing will fundamentally change. If nothing is going to fundamentally change, like I said, you probably get your assault weapons banned. But it's almost much ado about nut motherfucker. We needed a bold progressive change. Why would I trust Kamala or Joe Biden on anything? We need to primary Joe Biden. Nick Brana for president. Now, I got 14 solutions for America to stop mass shootings, okay? 14 solutions if we're going to be serious. Or maybe 13 solutions. 13, 14, maybe 15 solutions. I don't know. I'm gonna write 14, but I see that I said the exact same thing twice. But let's just run down okay? Here, hey, America, you want to stop the mass shootings? You're being serious about the mass shootings, okay? Maybe we could get rid of the guns, right? Get the assault weapons banned. What are you going to do? Go after the Second Amendment next, too? So you're going to have to pass an amendment, right? You're going to have to pass an amendment to get rid of that amendment. So that's, that's going to take years and years and years. So are we even being serious here? Are you guys even being goddamn serious here? What can we do in order to stop mass shootings? Well, we could get rid of poverty. We can encourage, we can get more jobs. All right, here's the solution. Okay, so stop corporal punishment at home and in school. Texas schools still have corporal punishment. They're still doing corporal punishment in Alabama, Mississippi. Well, they're backwards as fuck. So they got to beat their fucking kids to make sure they're going to be backwards as fuck too. But it's not just at, in the home, which, I guess some people will say it's up to but the school system is still doing corporal punishment. What's absolute and, if you don't want violent kids, and don't be violent to kids, lead by example and persuasion. Even though that Salvador Ramos was shot and killed, if Salvador Ramos had been arrested, they wouldn't have spanked him or hit him or give him any corporal punishment whatsoever. You know who needs to get spanked? Those damn cops for just letting Salvador Ramos kill 21 people. They need spankings. But we're not going to do that to adults. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Why wouldn't you do that if spankings work for the kids, why wouldn't they work for the adults? These goddamn adults, they're not doing their goddamn jobs. They wear a cowboy hat. They act like they're a bunch of, heroic people that would go in there. No, you're a bunch of careerists. You're a bunch of careerists. You got that paycheck you don't give a shit about. We could lock the school doors. Don't chase the wrong guy. You had the damn police. You had the school resource officer who apparently never even made it to school that day. He just woke up and just started chasing some damn jogger? He apparently chased some wrong person. You want mass shootings to stop? Don't chase the wrong guy. Johnny Hurley, he stopped the gunman and then the police killed him. So there's another thing. Don't shoot the hero. Don't shoot the hero. Don't arrest the hero. Don't arrest the heroic mothers and fathers who are willing to confront the criminals, the criminal gunmen, in order to save their children. Don't stop them. What the fuck is the matter with you assholes? Jesus Christ. Universal health care. If we had a society that invested in the health and the lives of our own people, we don't give a shit about the lives of our own people. Health is life. I thought we had a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in America. How the fuck are we going to get liberty and the pursuit of happiness without life? Don't arrest the heroic mothers. Get some universal health care. Don't chase the wrong guy. Lock the school doors. Apparently the door was just propped open. And you know what? Goddamn public schools, I think we probably should just lock the school doors forever. What do we need public schools for? Maybe get involved with school boards. I'm not for sure. Find out your county court, treasurer, assessor, learn a power map, figure out if your county officials are liberators or oppressors. Lock the school doors. Stop corporal punishment. Lock the school doors. Don't chase the wrong guy. Universal health care. Don't arrest heroic mothers. Get good cops. Have a justice system that works. 40% of that city's budget goes to the police. Was it Uvalde? That 40%? Well, we need to spend 40%. Well, they got bills to pay. They're not doing shit for us. We paid them to protect and serve us, and they didn't do shit. They sat back while our kids are getting slaughtered. And for the people that want to get rid of the guns, we're going to trust the cops to take away the guns? Yeah, they'll take. Yeah, that's exact. They won't confront gunmen active, but they will go after peaceful. Of course, we need good cops. We need a criminal justice system that works. The guy's working at Wendy's. He's working at Wendy's. He's got a job, right? But then he was not going to graduate. So what's he going to do? He's in a dead-end town, bunch of poor people, where the school has, that's what probably the best employer is the school system. He's not going to trade school. He's not going to college. He's working at Wendy's, and he quit. He just quit that job. He's not going to graduate. Universal internet. That's better than free school. Hell, I was valedictorian, straight A's. So, schools, they waste so much goddamn time. Once they've taught you reading, writing, and arithmetic, you don't need to go back to public school. Once you learned your reading, writing, and arithmetic, you don't need to go back to public school. So, universal internet, that's better than free school. All you need to do is, you need to worry about people socializing around it, but just get folks together. Make their internet learning real by applying it in real life. But that's universal internet. You got all the information in the world. That's all school is anyways. They're not giving us experiences. They're just downloading information, making us watch their damn PowerPoints. So, universal internet. Actually, giving a shit about education. Stop corporal punishment. You're against violence when it's on you, but when violence is on, fire all the cops in Uvalde. Get better cops. Free Mumia and Peltier and Assange. Why stand up and defend yourself? Why be a renowned reporter, expose the elites if they're going to take everything away from you anyways? What about freedom of the press? Does America even give a shit about freedom of the press? Look at Julian Assange. For the motherfucker saying, get rid of the Second Amendment. You don't give a shit about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Do you care about any of our freedoms at all? America, do you even understand what freedom means? America, learn your goddamn freedoms. You want to make some small sacrifices? As Americans, we all have the Bill of Rights. But as a Colorado American, as an Oregon American, as a Texan American, you have your own state's Bill of Rights. Combine the state's Bill of Rights with America's Bill of Rights, and those are all the constitutional legal freedoms you got. So you have the Salvador Ramos. Had he been properly educated, he goes to government schools and doesn't know shit about American government. He goes to American government schools and don't know shit about American government. Did he know that he was an American? Did he know that he was bequested all these freedoms, all these rights and freedoms? Not only does he have a right to, bear arms and also a right to speak, but he also has a right to petition. He has a right to peacefully assemble. Did anybody tell him about these freedoms? Because he could have tried to petition. He could have tried to peacefully assemble. There's a right to remain silent, right to a speedy and public and impartial jury trial, right to the access to the courts, right to home rule. These are Coloradan rights, right to initiative and recall. You don't like the bastard, then throw him out. You could just throw out any public official with the right to recall. And then we also have the right to due process, Article 2, Section 25. That's also the 5th and 14th Amendment. The right to due process. Who the hell goes around talking about how we have a right to due process? As Americans, let's just sit around and talk about all the freedoms that we have. Do we have, we got a lot of freedoms, but there's some freedoms that we don't have. We don't have a right to water. We don't have, they say right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but we need water in order to live. What about a right to oxygen? What about a right to self-defense if somebody's attacking you? What about a right to privacy? The Roe versus Wade, you want to get rid of, go ahead and codify Roe v. Wade forever and ever, then go ahead and pass a right to privacy. You pass a right to privacy, then you go ahead and you protect Roe v. Wade, as well as a right to privacy. That's worthy of being a part of American Bill of Rights. There's a big founding, there's a freedom that our founders didn't come up with. So America, learn your freedoms, have a better culture. Free Mumia and Peltier and Assange. Fire the cops. Get better cops. Have a justice system that works. Get good cops. Get universal internet. Stop corporal punishment. In the homes and in the schools. I can't believe that Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, and Arkansas are still beating the kids, not just at the house, like, quietly in private, but in the public school system too. If the damn school system is beating the kids, the goddamn parents are beating the kids too. It's just nasty. Stop corporal punishment. Lock the school doors. Don't chase the wrong guy. Get universal health care. Don't arrest the heroic mothers and fathers who are willing to confront the criminal pieces of shit. Get universal internet. Fire the cops. Get better cops. Freedom Mia. Learn your freedoms, America. Have a gun safety culture. Have a gun safety culture. Now, growing up, there was the 4 rules of gun safety. Now, I know different people have different, ideas about this and that. So let's just take a quick look at the 4 rules of gun safety. But if you're an American, you should get a gun and 5 acres upon birth. You should get 40 acres and a mule and a gun. Deputize and arm the students. In Colorado, students have the power to arrest. So by empowering the students, by empowering our young generation to let them know you're an American and you have all the rights and freedoms that everybody else in America has. And you could use that to your benefit. Do we need to wear Kevlar clothing? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I think public schools are a waste of time. I think they teach obedience to fascism. They teach obedience to authority. They teach students not to talk to each other, not to give a damn about each other, not to have solidarity, not to have, how about a right to unionization? We don't even have a right to unionize in America. We're this, the freedom and democracy, right? America's all about freedom. Raise your children with some goddamn backbone. Legalize marijuana. That way when your children turn 18, they can smoke a joint and chill the fuck out. Get self-medicated instead of, murdering a bunch of goddamn kids. Jesus fucking Christ. What a goddamn loser. This Salvador Ramos, he didn't, go after the people that made fun of him. He didn't go after the bullies. He didn't go after not a single man. He just murdered a whole bunch of innocents. The massacre of the innocents, just like King Herod in Jesus' time. Massacre of the innocents, just like King Herod and Putin in Ukraine and Baby Bush in Iraq. Have a gun safety culture. So even if we were to get an amendment, they're still going to have shotguns, rifles, and pistols, right? Even if you ban the assault rifles, you're still going to have shotguns, rifles, and pistols. At the bare minimum, you're going to have shotguns, rifles, pistols. So, you know what? That should actually be enough in a peaceful society. So, since we're still an American, right? We're still Americans. We're not going to get the amendment changed anytime soon. We might get the assault weapons banned. That means we're going to have shotguns, rifles, and pistols. The 4 rules of gun safety: treat all guns as if they're always loaded. Never let the muzzle cover gun point at anything that you're not willing to destroy. Keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on target and you've made the decision to shoot. Be sure of your target and what is behind it. Andrew Jackson said something about he never met a Kentuckian that didn't have a pint of whiskey and a deck of cards and a gun. But he was actually making fun of the Kentuckians because when they went to the Battle of New Orleans, they didn't have a gun or any provisions. Okay, so by having a gun safety culture, we got freedoms, and we need to fight. Every generation has to fight for our freedoms. Every generation has to fight for our freedoms. So by having a gun safety culture, be sure of the target. Be sure of your target and what is behind it. So if you got a target, make sure you know what's behind your target. Treat all guns if they're always loaded. Always loaded, no matter what. Don't play around with the gun. Never point the gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. Point the gun straight up. Point the gun straight down. Keep your finger off the trigger. Have good trigger control. Good trigger control. Don't point the gun at anything. Always treat the gun as if it's loaded and be sure of your target and what's behind it. That's according to this. Let's see. 4 primary rules of firearm safety. Are they universal? Are these eternal laws? The primary rules were always keep your firearm pointed in a safe direction. Treat all guns as though they're loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger and always be sure of your target and what's beyond it. So there we go. That seems to be pretty consistent. Let's check out one more. The 4 firearm safety rules. So by having a gun safety culture, in the Wild West, everybody was carrying a gun. It wasn't the gun, it was the person, and it was the culture. The reason why you're allowed to have a gun is because you have a right to defend yourself. The purpose of this rule, let's see, make sure you treat all guns like they're loaded. Yep, these are all the same rules. So learn the 4 rules of gun safety. Never let the muzzle cover anything you're not willing to destroy, right? Don't point the gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. Keep your, finger off the trigger unless you're ready to shoot. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. And when you do go to aim and shoot, make sure you know what's behind you. Make sure you know where you're shooting at. So that's your 4 laws of gun safety. If you're an American, basically we're in a proxy war with Russia right now over Ukraine. If Russia invades America or North Korea or whoever, we're going to need some assault rifles. We're also going to need some tanks, some RPGs. We're going to need some of them javelins, some of them Stinger Ray missiles. We're going to need a whole bunch of weapons, right? Not just assault rifles. Jesus Christ. If Russia invades the U.S. or if North Korea invades the U.S. or if Venezuela or China, if somebody invades the U.S., we're going to need those weapons. But in the meantime, in a peaceful society, do we need all that? Probably not. So my guess is they're going to get their assault weapons banned. But I was I was ready to basically give up my Second Amendment with Bernie Sanders. You fix the economics of America, all right, I'll give up. But you just want to come after the fucking Second Amendment and then what? Pretend that like you done something? Only Ukraine. It's the only good thing that this administration has done. Ukraine and Afghanistan. They withdrew out of that crap war and they're getting us into another one. But the Ukrainian people have a right to defend themselves and everybody in the rest of the world have a right to help the Ukrainians defend themselves. That is right. That's right. Yesterday, it will eternally always be correct. It will always be right to defend the Ukrainian people from invasion. So, by raising our children with some backbone, you think some 18-year-old asshole could have walked into a school in Sparta and killed those badasses? No fucking way. It's easier to raise strong children than it is to fix broken men. It's easier to raise strong children than it is to fix broken men. Public education system is totalitarian, authoritarian. He went to public education for 12 goddamn years, but apparently that wasn't enough. You've already wasted my entire youth, you motherfuckers. Texas doesn't believe in freedom. They haven't legalized marijuana yet. He turned 18 and said he's going to buy a gun and go hurt people. If marijuana was legalized, when he turned 18, he could have just chilled the fuck out. And hell, if he really wanted to get a gun and go shoot people, he could have enlisted in the service. He could have took that raw, naked aggression and used it for good in the world. So there you go. There's 14 solutions for America to stop mass shootings. My guess is nobody's going to pay attention or listen. No one's going to do. Get rid of the guns. Most likely assault weapons will get rid of, but that's not going to stop your mass shootings. That's not going to stop the violence. It might stop the high body counts, which That's important. But we're not attacking the problem at the root. We need to stop corporal punishment, lock the school doors, quit chasing the wrong people, get universal health care, don't arrest heroic mothers and fathers. Get good cops. Cops that are going to arrest heroic mothers and fathers but not stop the fucking fuck them motherfuckers. Have a criminal justice system that works? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I bet you every time them cops accuse somebody, criminal justice system went ahead and fucking rubber stamped their shit. But meanwhile, universal internet, we don't need schools anymore. Get universal internet, just learn to socialize, stop corporal punishment in the homes and the schools. In the schools, that's institutional violence against, god damn, fire the cops, get better cops, free Mumia and Peltier and Assange, learn your freedoms, Americans, learn your freedoms. You got a right to speak and petition and peacefully assemble. You have a right to religion. You got a right to bear arms. You got a right to prevent soldiers from living in your homes. You got a right to a speedy and public impartial jury trial. You got a right to remain silent, which it's not the best rights in the world. I have a right to speak. We'll go ahead and speak. No. I also have a right to remain silent, the right to access to the courts, the right to home rule, the right to initiative and recall, the right to due process. The right to due process. What? Another mass shooting? Let's get rid of due process. Let's get rid of the Second Amendment and the right to recall and the right to due process. Let's just get rid of all of our freedoms. Let's just shred the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Have a gun safety culture, raise your children with some backbone, and legalize marijuana. It's easier to raise strong children than it is to fix broken men. That's Frederick Douglass. But I know you already knew that, America. That's what I love about you, America. You knew that was Frederick Douglass. You knew. Every time I quote Frederick Douglass, they're going to say, it's remix culture.